I just finished watching the documentary called Fed Up, which apparently was done in 2014, and I'm first now just hearing about it. And I am a health documentary junkie. So these type of things aren't well put out there, which is why when I run across them, I need to share. This documentary is heart-wrenching, moving, infuriating, all rolled up into one. It focuses on the obesity epidemic of our youth. We have an obesity epidemic of adults, but more and more over the past 10, 15 years, it's started younger and younger. And I see it all over the place. You know, these heavy children starting at 6, 7, 10, and just the amount of weight that they're carrying on their body, the amount of fatigue, the amount of strain that it puts on their joints. The documentary pulled no punches, went through the history of how we are poisoning our children with sugar in everything. Even things you think are healthy, right? That healthy granola bar that's full of sugar. Oats are nothing but sugar. Bread is nothing but sugar. It all breaks down into sugar. And the documentary really goes through, it's like a grassroots movement. We need to start educating these children on reading labels and understanding that just because it's not in a candy bar, but it's in a healthy whole grain bread or oatmeal breakfast bar, it's the same thing. The heart-wrenching part is the interviews of these really overweight children. And they are in tears because they are starving themselves. They are trying to eat healthy, what the dietitians are telling them are healthy. Cut the calories, exercise more, and they're not losing weight. We have to change that. We have to start spreading the awareness of this. And it's not a keto or carnivore or any type of documentary like that. It's just putting the awareness on sugar and how sugar is in everything and how we need to take back our health and diet choices from the government and the schools and start feeding our kids whole food, not boxed products. It also goes through, there's this really cool part where these siblings are all DEXA scanned. So that's a scan that goes through and tells you how much fat and muscle and whatnot that's on the inside. And so there was 2 or 3 children. One of the children is extremely obese. You can tell. He actually had less fat around his organs and things than his 2 siblings did. They had more fat. They were actually at a higher risk of heart attacks and things like that. They were metabolically unhealthy, even though they weren't quote unquote fat. That's because you can be thin on the outside and fat on the inside. So just because you see someone that's really skinny doesn't mean that they are metabolically healthy. If you like to learn, you need to watch this documentary. Even if you don't like to learn, everyone needs to watch this documentary, and it needs to get shared because it's very powerful. It's long. I'm going to warn you, it's long. But, I mean, it goes through so much. They have the studies in there. There was a study that they did with rats where they gave rats cocaine water. And then they switched the diet from the cocaine to sugar water. Then they gave them the choice. And the rats took the sugar water over the cocaine water 100% of the time. They have the MRI scans of people that have taken cocaine and people that have dosed up on sugar. And it shows, it lights up the same spots. Sugar is actually 8 times more addicting than cocaine. And yet we're feeding that to our kids all the time. Have Cheerios. It's sugar. It's just sugar. My 10-year-old, when she's away for a while and she doesn't get to eat the same way that we eat at home, you know, she comes home and she is craving meat. She was gone for 3 days a couple of weeks ago, and she got home and she couldn't shovel meat in her face fast enough because what she ate was all primarily carbs, and that she didn't have a choice. She's 10 and you eat where you're at. It's not like she could say something. And, you know, they were not always processed carbs, you know, fruit, vegetables, okay, but she didn't get the protein that she really needed, and her body can feel it. But when you look at sugar being 8 times more addicting than cocaine, you got to get rid of it. You got to start by just taking it, just getting rid of all that processed stuff and eat whole foods. You know, eat your meat and your veggies and your whole food fruits, not juiced up, if you so choose. But they said by 2050, just only a little over 25 years from now, 95% of the population is going to be obese and metabolically sick with diabetes and whatnot. And obesity and metabolic health is the highest cost of healthcare. But it doesn't have to be. So anyway, I'm not going to stand on the soapbox any longer. But please, please, please watch the documentary Fed Up. You can watch it on Amazon for free. YouTube might have it. I tried getting it on my phone, but it wouldn't click. They used to have it. I think it's called freedocumentaries.com, and it might be on there. But if you just Google or whatever search engine that you want, where to watch Fed Up documentary, or just Fed Up documentary, it's FED space UP. You should be able to find it. But it will be a very important 1.5 hours of your time. I'm actually gonna make my kids watch it with me, and we're gonna use that as part of their health science, because it's so full of information, but also teens and kids on there, so they can relate to these kids and, you know, understand these kids where they're at. You know, they don't care. They're willing to be different if it means that they can get healthy, because these kids are afraid of dying, you know. And so maybe if you have children or teens, share this with them, because that peer pressure is real. And when you go, you know, out to a picnic with friends or whatever, and it's just have this one cookie, it'll be fine, it's just one cookie. if these kids can understand that sugar is a drug and it should come with a warning label, same as soda and all of that, that this is an addictive substance, just like on cigarettes. They have those on cigarettes. Well, you know what? That needs to be put on every single package of processed food because it's addicting. What's the potato chip? Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop. And that's the truth. Cookies and cakes and sodas and even bread all should have that warning label. And we tell our kids to say no to drugs. Just say no to drugs. You remember the old commercial with the eggs and this is your brain on drugs? Sugar's no different. And when sugar is 8 times more addicting than cocaine, and you reach for that one cookie because it's just one cookie, you're setting off the addiction. And it's not something that's easily stopped. So if we can teach our kids that just don't start with it, then you won't have to try and stop those cravings. I think, we'll breed healthier children. And this isn't about weight loss. It's not about dieting. This is about helping our kids get healthy. Helping them become metabolically well so that they will not succumb to diabetes and lose limbs and vision and end up with a heart attack or a stroke. We have to teach them. So watch the video, share with others. It is just that good and that powerful. I just can't say enough. I wish I would have seen it years ago. But that's why we need to make these documentaries more. We need to spread the awareness of these documentaries more. So be sure to share this and have a good day.